Right, well, hello and welcome back to another video, everyone. So today you're joining me for some offline races in RaceRoom, and personally I think this is some of the best content available in sim racing right now. And if you haven't tried this, if you don't have RaceRoom in your library, go straight to Steam, add it to your library and try out the free content. It is absolutely worth it. But before we go any further with the video, I just want to say a really big thank you to everyone who's subscribed, liked, commented and just engaged with the video that I put out previously on AMS2. I've gone from 18 or 19 subscribers all the way up to somewhere above 80 at this point. Now that might not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but to me that is a huge amount of growth, and I'm very thankful to everyone who's subscribed. So I actually recorded and did the voiceover for this video last night. And the footage was of a daily ranked race it was the new 2025 DTM pack around the Red Bull Ring. But as I was sat reviewing the footage, I decided that I didn't really want to use it because, to be totally honest, it was a little bit boring. And that's actually a bit of a product of the ranked races at the moment in RaceRoom. So even though RaceRoom has been out for a really long time, the ranked feature is quite new, and the player base is not that high right now. So the races that I was doing yesterday, pretty much all of them only had 2 splits in. I was in split 1, and the problem that I had with that is the variation of ability within split 1 it's incredibly broad right now. The people who were front, they were leading by 20-30 seconds. The mid pack was relatively close, and then again there was a really big gap back to the people who were at the back of the field. I mean, this isn't always the case, it just depends on how populated the servers are at any given time. So I decided that I would do some offline races against the AI, and then I remembered about the feature that RaceRoom has, which is the adaptive AI. Now I'd tried this previously and I wasn't overly blown away by it, but then I was talking to someone who I actually spent a bit of time playing AMS2 with, and they told me about this, or rather they'd reminded me about this feature and actually told me a little bit more about how it works. So I think to get the best out of it, what's recommended is that you actually do a practice session, a qualifying session, and then straight into a race. But I didn't do that. Basically what I did was I did a race first, which I finished way ahead of the field. And then once I'd completed it, I just hit restart, tried it again, and immediately the AI performance was so much better. Now, I don't know exactly how this works, if it's on a per track or per car basis. However, I remembered that when I first started trying out RaceRoom after the ranked update, they had an amazing combo, which was this 2016 DTM cars around, I believe it was the Hockenheim ring. So given that everyone is probably getting a bit bored of GT3 racing now, I decided that I would actually give this a go, because from my memory these cars were amazing fun to drive. They're incredibly difficult, they're super twitchy at the rear, they have no traction control, no ABS, and then to top it all off, they have DRS as well. So I'm not sure if these cars if they're included with the free version of the game, or if you have to buy the online racing pack, which I believe is still on the Christmas sale right now. And if you don't have that yet, I would 100% recommend that you pick that up. I get nothing for saying that, but it's amazing value. You get a huge variety of tracks and cars, and it will enable you to do so many different types of racing. And that's the thing with RaceRoom. There's so much content on offer, it's almost unbelievable. It's very similar in terms of the amount of content to AMS2. It doesn't have all the same historic stuff, but there's a lot of different things in there to try. Quite honestly, I actually think that RaceRoom is hugely underappreciated. It's by no means perfect, because no game is ever perfect. However, I would say this is pretty close to it. Given the amount of content that's available, the performance is fantastic, it's really well optimized. Sure, it's not the most graphically amazing game, but it looks pretty good. There's built-in ranked racing now, which, if that's your thing, then there's something available there. It doesn't require a monthly subscription to play, and the additional content that you can buy, I actually think is really well priced. There's definitely a fair few areas that it can be improved. The first one you'll notice when you get into the game is the UI. Now this is being worked on right now, and the UI they've implemented for the new multiplayer is brilliant, so definitely looking forward to that being rolled out to the rest of the game. And the other thing, which is fairly subjective, but it's the force feedback. Now, I'm not the first person to mention this, and I'm not a wizard when it comes to force feedback, so I don't know the full ins and outs. But it just lacks a little bit of something, and it's hard to place exactly what it is. But it never really feels like you're hustling the car. It's always quite safe. these cars are probably a bad example of this, but in a lot of things, trying to get the back end out it can be fairly difficult, so I'm not sure if that's due to the force feedback, the physics and the handling, or maybe just the car setups are just too safe out of the box. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely not as dynamic as some of the other sims out there. There's another minor bugbear of mine, which, as I understand it, it's just a limitation of the engine, but it's the fact that the dashboards in-car, they're not a true one-to-one representation of the real car dashboards. I know that this is a minor point, and it's not game-breaking in any way, but it is quite immersion-breaking, so hopefully that's something that they can improve in time. Something that I think they've got really right, though, is it's the format and schedule of the ranked races. Now, a lot of times they're just quick 15-minute sprints throughout the week. You can dip in and out of them at any time. Sure, the variation in player count might be a bit up and down, but for people who don't have hours and hours and hours to spend playing, it's nice to know that at any time of the day, pretty much, you can jump in, sign up to a race, and within a couple of minutes you're on track and having a good battle. And if you are on a budget and you don't want to invest more money into yet another sim, every week there's always a rotating free car and track combo for you to jump into. To be totally honest though, if you spend the time to get things set up right, then this adaptive AI feature can be just as much fun to race offline as it can online. I think we all get a bit fed up sometimes of the online standards for racing. It's to be expected, it's the same everywhere you go. Sometimes I think LMU's bad, then I try iRacing and it's just as bad over there. So if you're a bit fed up, try this out for the offline experience, because I guarantee that you will be amazed. I mean, in the race that we're looking at right now, I knew that I had a little bit more pace than P2, but even when I closed up, I just couldn't seem to find a way past. And by treating this car like a human and not going for a late send, it led to some really close racing. But look, these are all just my opinions. You might have had a totally different experience with RaceRoom, and that's absolutely fine, but if it's been a while since you last played, give it another try and just see what you think. If you play RaceRoom and you agree or disagree with any of the things that I've said, then let me know in the comments below. As always, if you've made it this far into the video, then huge congrats to you. Thank you for sticking around and listening to me waffle on. And again, to reiterate what I said earlier, thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed and liked and commented. It really does help out. If you haven't done that already and you enjoyed the video, please consider doing it. I know everyone says it, but it genuinely does make a big difference. I'll leave you with the rest of this video to find out if we make it up to P2 or not, but until the next time, have a good one. And also, have a happy new year.